Hi, this is Damien Qualter with this week's Property News and Views, 5th of June 2009. First of four articles today, looking at the news in the past week. First article, buy-to-let stabilisers. This is music to the ears to landlords. Rents are now seen to be stabilising across the UK, especially in the northern regions, and generally looking a lot more rosy than they were before. Obviously, there's a lot of news again at the moment about house prices stabilising and being on the move again. But this article really goes into depth that there's been an extensive study of over nearly 500,000 buy-to-let landlords looking at rent increases over the last 12 months. And generally now that rents, certainly in Scotland and certain northern parts of the UK, are starting to rise in April and May, which is excellent news. The other thing which is affecting the market is that there is a lack now of newer buy-to-let properties coming onto the market than there were a year ago. The phenomenon called accidentally landlords, which started really at the start of the credit crunch last year, is beginning to slow. So fewer properties coming into the rental market, which is obviously driving demand. So another very, very interesting article and good news for landlords. Second article today, another green shoots of recovery article. House prices rise in May. Latest nationwide price index revealed that house prices rose 1.2% in May, meaning that the annual rate of decline has improved to minus 11.3% across the 12 months as a whole. This is, again, excellent news for landlords and house owners in general. Now it seems to be that, as I mentioned probably in earlier articles, that I think now we are hitting the bottom of the market, and I think we will have probably a long and slow improvement to house prices going up. But I think generally, my thoughts are that house prices now are at the bottom, and it is probably the best time in a number of years to invest in property at the moment. Bank interest rates are low, interest rates to borrow are low, and house prices are low, and yields are high. So all the factors ticks all the boxes for people to now jump into the market to take advantage of market conditions. Third article today, buy-to-let tables are turned. This is an article from the aspect of letting agents who now are seeing a shift in the market, in the lettings market sector, which has certainly been more favourable in the past to tenants over the last 12 months, and now is becoming more balanced, and certainly in some cases in favour of the landlord again. Because of house prices are becoming to stabilise now, and a lot of tenants are beginning to not move around as much as they were in the past. Obviously, when tenants move, it is a cost to the landlord, but I don't think many landlords take into the fact that it also does cost the tenant to move around. So from a study which has been held, certainly that we're seeing now that the letting markets are stabilising. From the previous article early today, we've seen that rents are stabilising. The other article, house prices stabilising, and this third article now that we are seeing that the lettings market is also stabilising too. Obviously, we would expect this to be the case, but it is all confirming signals, which is again excellent news for landlords and property investors in general. Final article today in Property News and Views is repossession laws to change. Housing Minister Margaret Beckett has announced proposals to the law to guarantee at least 2 months' notice for tenants if they are required to leave their home because the lender has taken possession of the property. Basically, a lot of landlords fall into two categories: those who inform the lender that they're letting the property, and those who don't. Most tenants will have landlords with buy-to-let mortgages and therefore have tenancies that are recognised by the lender. Those tenants who are already protected and will have their tenancies honoured by the lender as long as they're not in breach of their tenancy agreement. Lenders, however, are sympathetic to tenants who are paying the rent and acting responsibly in cases where the landlord has failed to gain permission to let the property. But the legal position on this is extremely complicated because the lender has no contractual obligation to the tenant and can often be in breach of mortgage terms. basically we're looking to help tenants who, in no fault of their own, are seen in circumstances where they might have to leave the property in very quick period of time, and this law would hopefully get around that, protecting their interests, and hopefully will force buy-to-let landlords to report to lenders that they are letting out properties in future. There are a whole host of implications involved with this, including if you haven't told the lender, perhaps the insurance will be null and void if ever there was a claim as well. So that's it for this week in Property News and Views for the 5th of June. I enjoyed giving it to you today and look forward to speaking to you next week.